definition. I need somebody who can specify something for me. On a day that whose memory in the church goes back so many centuries, on one day when we give honor to all those who have lived the gospel, the day we call All Saints' Day, or at least the Sunday following All Saints' Day. I need a definition of a saint. I need one that works, okay? And don't tell me someone who lives in the church, and don't tell me it's me. All right? I have grandparents who did that. But give me a definition of a saint. What do they have in common? What does Peter, or Thomas Becket, or Thomas Moore, William Wilberforce, Desmond Tutu, what do they? Let me get some women in there. Mary of Magdala, Mother Teresa. What do they all have in common? Anybody? Yes, Elliot.
Follow and teach the word of Jesus with love and devotion.
Okay. Follow and teach the word of Jesus with love and devotion. So by your definition, we would exclude Gandhi. We would never say he was a saint because he's not a Christian, he was not a follower of Jesus.
God. Love.
Me.
Instead of Jesus.
So you wouldn't say Gandhi is a saint, just from your what you know of him, or knew of him.
Close.
Okay, fair enough. Anybody else?
I would say Gandhi's the same.
Okay, there's a better right phone. Anybody?
Loves everybody.
Someone who loves everyone
Without
without conditions at all. That sounds like my dog. We do give unconditional love, by the way. And some, I would have to say some dogs are holier than some people I know. I would go that far. And I'm not being facetious, I'm being very honest.
I think they've had doubt and pushed through the doubt to trust God.
Trust in God, deal with the doubt. Brian,
I would also say sacrifice, putting others' needs in front of their own.
someone who will sacrifice for others, care for others. Humility.
They consciously or unconsciously follow the two great commandments.
They follow the two great commandments, and you can tell everyone, just in case they ask, because it's an hour's difference in sleep, so they may not be remembering.
They all love their neighbor as themselves, and they love God
And they love their
with all
God.
heart and all mind.
Okay. I got a picture of a saint in here, an unusual saint. And I want someone to confirm for me, is this person, or was this person, I'm not going to tell you, saint, male or female. And we're going to have just somebody picked just at random out of the congregation. So I'm going to pretend that you guys don't know that I accidentally ran into Georgia at the pizza place on Friday, and I said to her, congratulations, you're going to be my person I pick out of the congregation. So let's pretend that we never ran into each other. Would you like to volunteer? Okay. Now you heard all those definitions. Would you like to throw a definition of your own?
Also opinions on the
All those guys? Tell them that they do nice and loud, because I know you have a soft voice. At least the Georgia Island class has a soft voice.
someone who follows God unconditionally, like sort of wants to be the best person they can be.
Every day. Okay. Now I want you to stand straight up here. I'm going to show you the picture of the saint, and no one else is going to see it. When you see the picture of the saint, you tell me, is this person a saint? All right, don't say who it is. I assume you will recognize the picture. It's not an old photo, but it's did you?
Yeah.
You think this person's a saint?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you hold on to this and just sit there for the time being, okay? Do not share it with anyone. What definition of saint did you hear this morning? Of all the things you heard coming out from the congregation, all of which are absolutely accurate, what did you hear this morning? What did you hear that we are called to be? First of all, the word holy. You all know what that word means originally. To be holy is to be separate. God is holy. It means God is separate from us. God is other than us. And yet we are called to be holy. To live a holy life. When Paul writes his letters, those 13 letters that he sent out to various Christian communities, very, very often, like you heard this morning, if you didn't hear it, reread it when you take the bulletin home, okay? He refers to the congregation in Ephesus as the saints in Ephesus. And very often he calls the people he's writing to the saints of God in Corinth or in Thessalonica or wherever. poor in spirit. They realize their need of God in their life. They have empathy for the suffering of others. They aren't full of themselves. And they realize at some point in their lives, as they grow in holiness, it's really more about God and not about me. They hunger and thirst for a right relationship with God. And if that relationship starts with justice, yes, to be just to others, and then to go beyond justice, to mercy and forgiveness. And then beyond that, mercy and forgiveness to those who don't even deserve it. To be single-minded in the search for God and let God give meaning to their life, and to work for peace, whether that's on a personal level, or within your family, or within your workplace or your job, or even work globally. Finally, maybe most importantly, a person who is holy, a person who is called to be saint, isn't afraid of being different. There was a time, and you folks from my age and older, we were lived at the very end of that period of time, when the culture was quote-unquote Christian in name. It may not have been Christian in fact, but it was Christian in name. And there was an identity with that Christian culture. Those days are gone. And to pretend otherwise is to be delusional. We are very similar. We are living in a situation very similar to the early church. To be a follower of Jesus Christ, to be a saint, to be one who tries to live a holy life, you're going to be different. And you may be made fun of. You may be thought of as weird. And yet that's who we are. In a couple of moments, you're going to renew the vows of your baptism. And baptism is what makes us members of God's family. So to use the words you're going to use, what are we as saints? We're those who renounce the power of the evil one in our lives. We renounce the desires and the inclinations that makes choosing evil so much easier than choosing the good. We accept Christ as our Savior, and we ultimately trust in Him and not in ourselves. We realize how much we need His support and His grace and power. We will promise to follow the Lord wherever that leads us. So, All Saints' Day. Who are the saints? Who are called to be saints? Who are empowered to be saints? When I think of the great, nameless, wonderful people, I think of a wonderful elderly woman. I've spoken of her many times. I speak of a grandmother who made a very coarse and perfect vestment for the ordination of her very coarse and perfect grandson when he became a priest. I think of a woman who was holy. Not perfect. I gotta be careful when I say this, but truly holy. Truly someone who loved God above all things, and loved your neighbor as yourself. All of us are called to be saints. So Georgia, would you do me a favor? Would you show them the picture of the saint so that they may understand who saints are? Thank you. As a saint. Would you all please stand? This is one of the Sundays where, in the place of the Nicene Creed, we renew the vows of our baptism. The call to sainthood. So would you please turn to page 300.